Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. And then remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan, a plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest. Jeff Clark is with us, Trident Inspection Group. Welcome.
Good morning to you, Ron. How are you?
Glad to have you with us.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Let me remind you, if you ever have any more finance-related questions, hey, give me a call, 800-306-1990. What are we going to celebrate today? National Clams on the Half Shell. Okay, I guess it is what it is. That one's just not high on my priority list. Let's see what else. National Bunsen Burner Day. I'm not going to go on that one either. I'm not a big fan of science. I can't. I'm into science. I don't know anything about it. So I just can't go to the science world. So Bunsen Burner Day, we're not going to go there. National Crayon Day. Okay, so my oldest of my grandkids, he likes crayons. We have fun with him with crayons. The baby, he's too young, so he's not in the crayon world yet, but I'm sure he will be. I guess we'll have to. I know he's an overachiever. Doesn't every grandparent say that? But at 7 months, he's not into crayons yet. Okay, and for those of us that have beaten anorexia, today is National Tater Day. Now, oh, wow, Josh, that one looks good. Tater Day. Now, what was that? Penn and Teller, do you remember Penn and Teller, the comedians? Okay, Josh, you know them. They're in Vegas they're always in Vegas. I don't think they ever leave Vegas. Kind of like Siegfried and Roy. I guess they left Vegas, toes up. That's a different story. But Penn lost 100 pounds or something just eating taters. Not, it was steamed, it was baked, nothing on them. But, I tried that and it works. So you have to have taters ready all the time, always the baked potatoes, and it's amazing, or steamed. And it's just amazing when you start doing that for a little while, you realize that there's a different flavor to every type of potato. I guess if you don't put a lot of butter and sour cream and bacon bits and cheese and caviar, you can actually taste the potato. And, it is filling. I lost quite a bit of weight on it, gained it, but that's a different story. You don't need anything for the first 2 weeks. All you eat is potatoes. That's it. I digress. I guess I should get into some. Jeff, are you a tater guy?
When you're mentioning that, Ron, I thought the best way, if you haven't tried it yet, is to sous vide, which is water immersion in a vacuum seal bag, sous vide the potatoes, because you don't boil them and it washes out that potato flavor. So it's a richer, more potato-y, if that's a word, flavor.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, strongly recommend it.
So you vacuum seal the potato?
Vacuum seal it, put a heating element into a tub of water. It's called sous vide. It's a sous vide method of cooking. Predetermine the temperature, cut them up, do all of that. And then it actually cooks the potato in the vacuum sealed bag. And they're delicious.
So it keeps all the flavor and everything.
It sure does.
So it's almost like I kind of do the same thing with a pressure cooker.
It'd be similar. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll have to try that one.
Yeah.
Don't tell my bariatric doctor. But that's a whole different story. You know, I'm trying to lose weight. But you know, somehow I keep finding it. Okay, let's take a look at what the markets are doing. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is up 59 points. S&P is down 30. The NASDAQ, the NASDAQ is down 247 points. Ow! Oil's up $2 a barrel. Not good news on those areas, but we're watching all of them. But you know something? Right now, we're getting back. I know a lot of our listeners are not going to believe this, especially in California. But we're getting back into normalcy. And I know you watch the news and there's nothing that they say on the news that says we're normal. But when you really think about it, what used to, up until maybe, I don't know, 4 years ago, something like that, 3 years ago, when the stock market went down, the bond market, the bonds went up, which meant interest rates went down. So it was a risk on, risk off. And where was the risk? Risk is in stocks. Safety is in bonds. You buy more bonds, that increases the demand. The price goes up, yields go down, which is now what we're seeing again. So we've got more of a normal market than what we've been seeing over the long run. I like that idea. Now, I get a lot of pushback when I say this. The tariffs are not going to matter. They didn't matter in the first Trump administration. They're not going to matter in this administration. Why? Because you and I have the ultimate decision, right? I mean, when you think about this, okay, so they put a tariff on wine coming in from France. I know, I went to wine. So they put a tariff on wine coming in from France. Are you going to buy any wine from France? No, you just go and buy wine from Paso Robles or Napa or Virginia or wherever else you like the wine from. So did the tariff actually hurt you? No, you just changed where you bought. The ultimate consumer, you and I, we control everything that comes around in the world. They can say all they want in Washington. They can say everything, all these different things. But whoever is the consumer has the ultimate control because you decide, am I going to buy or am I not going to buy? Now, as we see all this craziness in the economy, what's happening? Well, the Nordstrom shopper just became the Target shopper. So they're saving a little bit of money. The Target shopper is now the Walmart shopper. So they're not spending any more money. The Walmart shopper, they're going to Dollar General and Dollar Tree. So then they're not spending any more money. So the bottom line here is who do the tariffs control? Now we've got the big economy. What do you think France is saying right now when people are not buying French wines? Well, I read an article about it. They're in a panic. They're going to start going to their government saying, hey, get rid of the tariffs on stuff coming from the U.S. because we still have grapes in the vats from this past season, and the new season is only 2 months away. And we have nobody that wants the past grapes. They don't want the future grapes. What are we going to do? So I guess who's going to win in the tariff war? Now, go look at Canada. What's going on in Canada? So Canada charges us anywhere from 25 to 300% on goods we want to sell into Canada. Okay, so we put a 25% tariff on Canada. Okay, so whose economy is going to pay in the long run? We've already been paying 200% if we want those items. Now Canada's going to say, okay, I guess if this is going to hurt our economy, I guess we better revisit some of these things. Short term might have a little bit of pain. Long term, lots and lots of gain. Kind of what my what's the guy that the trainer said to me. Yeah, that's why I don't have him anymore. But that's a different story. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, home inspections. We thought it was just for buying a house, but how about more? especially in the land of wildfires. We'll talk about that with an expert. And I've noticed some older properties. I walked Balboa Island. Boy, they need Jeff services over there in a big way. Lots of termites. How do we control that part? Is there any control for them? And paused your moving plans? Here's why it might be time to hit the play button. All that and more. Reach me anytime. Off air number 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990 or RonSiegelRadio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564. Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you could retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less? All without having to spend more each month than you spend right now. Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis. rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
Confused about the home buying process? Or curious how much you really know about buying a home? Take the First Home IQ quiz to test your understanding of buying a home. Created by the nonprofit First Home IQ, this 5-minute quiz will give you a score, what you missed, and why. Take the quiz in 5 minutes at rsrlinks.com/FHIQ and find out what you need to know about buying your first home. That's rsrlinks.com/FHIQ.
Are you a renter and tired of making monthly payments? Paying off someone else's mortgage? Hey, it's Ron Siegel here to help you stop renting and start owning your dream home with amazing low interest rates. And you could potentially qualify for a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket. So stop renting. Start owning with Ron Siegel. Learn more at RonSiegelRadio.com and start owning today. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. 1990 every day at this time. OBMMI. They provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. They don't tell us points paid, points received, or the APR. They tell us the number you need to put in your mortgage calculator to determine what your principal and interest payment will be. If you don't have a mortgage calculator, shame on you. We give it to you for free. All you have to do is download the app, rsrlinks.com/mobile app, rsrlinks.com/mobile app. So what did rates do on Friday? Conventional 30-year fix, 6.632. That was down. Jumbo 30-year fix, 6.78. That was up. FHA 30-year fix, 6.318. That was down. VA 30-year fix, 6.147. That was down. USDA 30-year fix, 6.346. That was down. If you want our thoughts about the market, each and every business day morning, as early as the data allows, we do put out our report, rsrlinks.com/market minute, rsrlinks.com/market minute. Let's see what the markets are doing today. The 10-year treasury is down 3 basis points. The mortgage bond is up 6 basis points. As you will recall, when the bond goes up, the rates go down. It's just mathematics. So contemplate that one. Let's see what's driving all of these different numbers right now. And we know that we're not going to see a whole lot of drivers this week until we get to the end of the week, because this is jobs week. First Friday of every month, some exceptions, but for the most part, first Friday of every month, the Bureau of Labor Statistics sends us the BS report. The Bureau of Labor Statistics report. It's always wrong, but ironically enough, the markets always move on it, knowing that it's always wrong. It's not like I say it. They correct themselves. They don't get it right the next month, so they have to do it twice. And then the Census Bureau says, you guys still got it wrong. And 6 months later, they tell us what the real numbers are, showing us how wrong the Bureau of Labor Statistics was. You got to love it. So we got the JOLTS report coming out on Tuesday. We've got the ADP small business or the employment report coming out on Wednesday. And we've got that Bureau of Labor Statistics, as I mentioned, the BS report coming out on Friday. But one of our friends and contributors had the good fortune of speaking with Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent over the last couple of days. And the report from the conversation is something that we've talked about a lot. Where are the rates going? What is going to happen? Well, our Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, these guys are geniuses when it comes to what's going on. It's not like they went and did some ominous, well, I won't say it. It's not like they went and just hired people because of checking a box. These guys have been out there. Lutnick ran Cantor Fitzgerald, great bond trader. Scott Bessent, another Wall Street guy. So they know what they're talking about. Bessent said he's looking at a 10-year treasury of 3.9. Why is that important to you? Well, historically, the spread between the 10-year treasury and mortgage-backed securities, the mortgage into the 30-year interest rate, has been right around 1.7. So if you say 3.9 plus 1.7, is that my math right? Is that 5.6? That would be what they're saying the 30-year interest rate should be. We're not there yet, but that's what they're forecasting. And we'll see if their forecasts come true. And being that Bessent is the Secretary of Treasury, he's got some levers to pull that might be able to make his predictions come true. That's the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call. 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990. Let's talk real estate. No, we're not talking about buying and selling. We're talking about the part of real estate that I am totally clueless on. Jeff Clark is here. Now, I'm not clueless there. I know how to call Jeff. Trident Inspection Group. Welcome, Jeff.
Good morning, Ron.
So I've often said, like, it's like, something that's kind of funny. I'm going to throw this out there and you tell me. So the part that I know for sure, I have no idea how to use a screwdriver. I don't even know which end to use, right? So I don't know anything about that. But that doesn't stop me. I could be a home inspector, right?
Yeah, Ron, technically you're right. There's no licensing requirements in the state of California, which is frightening. So
Isn't that amazing when you think about the state that's got a regulation for everything?
Everything. That was one of the reasons I advocated and started actually about 5 years ago, the Orange County chapter for the National Association of Certified Home Inspectors, right? So that way I could have some influence on this industry to make sure at least I'm doing my part to bring up education, awareness, and training. So yeah,
it just baffles me because it's the biggest asset of the vast majority of the people is their house.
Yes.
The biggest liability of the vast majority of people. We have to, if you're an individual who's didn't go to 7-Eleven on Euclid in Anaheim last week and buy a lottery ticket, right?
Right.
You still have to work.
Yes.
And you have to get a mortgage.
Right.
And everything is regulated. Right. The loan officer is regulated and licensed. The lender is regulated. The realtor is regulated.
Right.
Title is regulated. Escrow everything's regulated.
Right.
Except the guy telling you if the house is going to fall.
And that's a great point, because that's why on Trident's team, right, we do home inspections, right, obviously, and then on my team we have general contractors with like 30 years of experience. I'm licensed by the Structural Pest Control Board for branch 2, branch 3, and all of my guys have some additional training along with a training certification or a license to go along to demonstrate their expertise in the field.
It's amazing, yet ironic. It's kind of funny that the state doesn't have anything to do with it. But you know something? I guess it's buyer beware. And one of the things that bothers me with a lot of real estate professionals, I'm not going to go too far there, but they'll say, go, you need a home inspection,
right? But
they don't say go to Jeff and get the home inspection.
Well, to that, I always encourage the agents that I work with, give them 2 or 3, just to give them.
Because they don't know who the best is.
Well, it's not a matter of being the best. It's just I want them to come through to look at our reviews. We're over 750 5-star reviews, right? And to look to just research and find out, because when you're making this $1.2, $1.3 million purchase, I mean, I think a condo right now is, $650, $700 in that range. You want to have the best person possible, right? Because after you make that purchase, there's going to be, for most people, there's going to be a little bit of financial vulnerability there, right? To where you can't withstand something if it should go wrong. So you want to make sure they're using all the tools at their disposal, because at the end of the day, Ron, we can't open up walls. We have to use things like moisture meters, infrared. We have to get in every attic, every crawl space. We have to use a lot of non-destructive tools to get the best profile of what the current condition of this home is.
And see, that's kind of, I understand what you're saying, and I know a lot of real estate agents do exactly what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And my pushback has always been, something, the consumer can look at the 5-star reviews, and that's great.
Mm-hmm.
But that tells you what the person thought of at the moment of exuberance. It doesn't tell you a lot. I look at it and say, okay, if I have people call me and say, who should I use as a real estate agent in Encinitas?
Right.
I can look and say, okay, here's who I would recommend in Encinitas.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't mesh with them, give me a call. If you want a home inspector and you're in Southern California, call Jeff, because I have a relationship as a professional in what I do and as a consumer advocate, right? If I get a bunch of complaints about Jeff, I'm not going to be telling anybody to call Jeff, right? But I don't. So I have an attorney that's in Fullerton. Anytime somebody's got real estate questions, it doesn't take me more than 30 seconds to say, here's who you need to call, right? So it's my job. The homeowner's buying a house once every 10 years. So how do they know what they don't know? Right? They don't know to ask. Most people, I would assume, I think, assume like I did until I started doing more research, that there's some certifications, right? You've educated me more and more that it's a Wild West. So, that's just my opinion is, go talk to Jeff.
Well, in that, to that, on that topic, right, the consumer today has never had more of an opportunity to express their anecdotal experience.
Sure.
Right.
Got
So with the reviews, comes a certain level of authenticity, even if they're at however you said it was just, just a glaze of just glee or what have you. They still can come back, update that review or not use a review. Right. So the reviews, I weigh heavily on those because they do demonstrate a consistency of professionalism.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
we have 750. You're not going to bamboozle 750 people.
Correct.
Right.
Right. So that's where we range on those, because those are the people out there that have chosen to advocate for us in our absence.
Sure. Okay. That makes sense.
So, they're listing us, my inspectors, off by name and the experience they had. And when they really, and like just yesterday, for a matter of fact, you could go on there. I had an agent where I found a fairly significant issue. I mean, we're on a bigger house and it's a rafter. I'm in the attic and this is a bigger house and the rafter had cracked. Right. So this is a significant issue, but we were able to identify the issue, talk about what the repairs are, contextualize what's happening, and then pivot towards solution for them. And that was demonstrated by the agent, who's a top producing agent. She opted to leave that review. So, it's true, but I would say I give those reviews a little bit more. I won't even go to a restaurant without checking a Yelp.
That's funny you say that. And I know we got to go, but I laugh about that a lot because my wife is that way.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So you could tell me, hey, Ron, you need to go to this restaurant. We just went there. My wife and I just went there. It was really good.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes to Yelp. And I'm saying, wait a second. Jeff just told us, Jeff, we know, like, and trust Jeff. And he told us, go to this restaurant. It's good. And you're going to go to Yelp to listen to somebody you don't know and have no reason to trust and verify or disprove what Jeff just told us. I just laugh about that part with restaurants. It's kind of funny. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, pause your planning, your moving plans. Here's why it might be time to hit play again, and more with Jeff Clark. You can reach me anytime off air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Are you a renter and tired of making monthly payments? Paying off someone else's mortgage? Hey, it's Ron Siegel here to help you stop renting and start owning your dream home with amazing low interest rates. And you could potentially qualify for a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket. So stop renting. Start owning with Ron Siegel. Learn more at ronsiegelradio.com and start owning today. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you could retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less? all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now. Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis, rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
Do you own a luxury home or planning to purchase one? If so, your home may be your largest asset, but your mortgage may also be your largest debt. The Siegel Lending Team is offering amazing financing opportunities right now. Jumbo loans up to $2 million, 30-year rates in the 3% and 15-year rates in the 2s. Learn more at ronsiegelradio.com or call me directly. My number is 800-306-1990. Licensed under NMLS 217037. Equal housing lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Pause your moving plans. Here's why it might be time to hit play again. Last year, 70% of buyers abandoned their home search, and maybe you were one of them. It makes sense. Inventory was low, prices were high, and mortgage rates were up and down like a roller coaster. All of that made it really hard to find a home you loved and could afford. But guess what? The market is shifting. So if you paused your moving plans in 2024, it might be time to hit play again. Here's why. More inventory opens up more options. Even if you could make the numbers work, the lack of available homes in recent years probably made it hard to come by something that fit your needs. But inventory is rising, which means you have more options. According to Realtor.com, inventory has jumped 27.5% since this time last year. If you're watching us on RonSiegelRadio.tv or any of our socials, you can see the chart. So if you were reluctant to list your house because you weren't sure where you'd go if it sold, you have more choices than you did a year ago. That's a big win. Homes are staying on the market longer too. When the supply of homes for sale is low, they're snatched up quickly because there just aren't enough of them to go around. And a few years ago, that meant your house could sell overnight. Well, that's not always a bad thing if you're planning a move and also need to find your next home. A slower pace isn't the end of the world. In fact, it's welcome relief. Now that inventory has grown, homes are staying on the market longer, meaning you don't have to feel rushed in the process. Another graph, homes are taking about a week longer to sell this year. If you're watching us, you'll see that graph. Latest data shows the typical home spent on the market went up by about 8% this year. That's higher than we've seen since 2020, but still a faster pace than before the market ramped up. And it's about a week longer than last year. Talk about a sweet spot for movers. It may seem like just a few days, but it gives you more flexibility and time to be thoughtful about your decisions. As Hannah Jones, Senior Economic Research Analyst at Realtor.com notes, quote, there are more homes for sale than the last few years, which means the market pace is just a bit more manageable with longer days on the market, and many sellers are more flexible. The buyers face still high housing costs. They might find a bit more give in the market, which could give them more time to make a decision even in the busy spring and summer months. If you're thinking about thinking, but wait, doesn't that mean it'll be harder to sell my house? Don't worry. With inventory still almost 23% below the pre-pandemic norm, well-priced homes are still selling, especially as more buyers step back into the game this season. Don't forget, if you want to know exactly how to sell your house for the most money, go to rsrlinks.com/salesmax, rsrlinks.com/salesmax. Bottom line, with growing inventory, sellers who want to upgrade, downsize, or relocate have more choices. Plus, with less pressure to rush into an offer, it could be a great time to revisit your home search if you've put it on hold. With more homes on the market and more time to make decisions, what else do you need to see in order to kickstart your home search again? Let's talk. Give me a call. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. 1990. Continuing our conversation, Jeff Clark is with us, Trident Inspection Group. So, Jeff, what are you seeing in the world right now with respect to all the wildfires? Is there anything somebody can do with their housing or inspections to try and protect themselves a little?
Well, there is, right? And with the recent, this is something, Ron, that I've been advocating for about 4 or 5 years. Okay, since the fires that took place up in the northern California.
Oh, okay.
Because in this area, we have Anaheim Hills, Yorba Linda, Brea, all these nice little hill homes. And then as we just had rain today, you're just going to see an increase in just the growth around those homes.
Sure.
So it's not really the fires that get you, right? It's the firebrands or the embers that blow through on the wind.
Ah, okay.
So really the most important part of the home is the initial, the NFPA, the National Fire Protection Association, breaks a home down into 3 zones. Really, you have the ignition zone, the 0 to 5 feet. So think from the edge of your house out 5 feet. So that's around the immediate perimeter of the house. Then from 5 feet out to 30 feet, they want to call that the lean and green area.
Okay.
And then from 30 feet out to 100 of the property line, that's where you want to do more like trimming trees and making sure there's spacing and vegetation management and irrigation and things like that. But really what you want to focus, the most impact that you could do around your home is, you see it a lot. They put the bark or the mulch around in the planters that butt up right next to the house. Just remove that, because if a fire ember blows on there and smolders, now you have an ignition point right next to your home.
And here, I thought that that just looks a lot nicer than having the dirt.
It does, but I
don't know anything about
it. You could go with something that's equally aesthetically appealing, right? You go with decomposed granite or rock or some other ground covering there that would yield the same effect, right? You just want to keep that area as, I don't want to say bare, because this is an interface to where aesthetic, and you want to enjoy your home and you want it to look a certain way, but then you also want to protect it against unforeseen issues.
Now, let me ask you this question, because I have no cosmetic taste.
I get it.
Right. I'm a numbers guy.
Right.
And therefore I obviously then I don't get any vote about what goes on around my house. Right. My wife has all those decision making.
Yes.
Do those things that you're talking about in the hardening world, are they appealing? Are the ladies, not to be gender specific, but I think in a lot of instances it's the ladies who have more input there. Are they accepting of that kind of thought?
It is. I'm going to be doing a consultation later tonight. Because you do have like aluminum type of patio furniture as opposed to plastic that may have fire resistant material as far as the cushions that go on top of it. You can, there's a whole industry in exterior furnishings and things like that address this issue and make it less combustible. I mean, you don't need to leave your cushions out all the time, or just little things that you could do about that. Or if you're going to be doing or building a new deck, using materials that are flame resistant.
Okay.
Right? It really is an interface between creature comforts and what's the word I'm looking for?
Aesthetics?
Creature comforts, aesthetics, and functionality.
There you go.
Right.
So let me ask you this question then, because I know that we've talked in the past when you've been on the program that you do inspections for insurance.
Correct.
Is this something that would get noted in an insurance inspection?
The typical insurance inspection that not yet.
Okay.
Right. I am anticipating and we're trying to get prepared for if there's what's that one, fair advantage? Fair plan. I'm sorry. I'm kind of in my own mind anticipating that they're going to be including this in their insurance request.
It would seem to me, I mean, if you have a home alarm, you get a discount on your insurance. Mm-hmm. It would seem to me that if something like what you're saying here is referenced, it should make the risk to the insurance company a little lower.
Correct. And it's super simple fixes in terms of if you go around your home and you're looking at your venting around your garage or the venting along underneath your eaves, usually it comes with like a 1/4 inch screen on there. If you could just take that down to an 1/8 inch or a 1/16 of an inch, you still get the ventilation. It just really protects that house from fire brands, the embers coming in. And then if you just kind of maybe go buy a drone, it's a tool, it's not a toy, but you just get a drone and take a look and where the roofs come together to create a valley to make sure that that doesn't have a lot of debris or leaves or pine needles accumulating in there. Around your gutters, just to put those, you see those screen gutter filters.
Yeah.
Those are huge, because when those fill up, because when's the last time you cleaned your gutters? If you say, I don't know, there's probably a lot of stuff that's accumulated in there. So if an ember was to fly in there, now you have an ignition point right at a wood, because you have the fascia, the rafter tails, and the sheathing underneath your roof right there to ignite.
Interesting. Okay. It's funny you say that, because I just did have to clean my gutters just recently, but it was not for the right reason.
Right.
When we had those rains a few weeks ago, it rained so hard that the water was backing up and coming over outside the gutter, not through the way the channel that it's supposed to go through.
Right.
And you had to get the bald fat guy up on a ladder, which he doesn't do very often.
Right.
Interesting. It's kind of crazy stuff.
Right.
So are you seeing more and more requests for insurance inspections?
For about the past, I think last time we were on the show, we talked about this. For about the past 2.5 years, I'm not going to name them, but a lot of the major carriers have been doing non-renewals pending inspection, right?
Okay.
And then those inspections are looking at the age. They're looking for potential loss, right? They're looking for fire or water, right? They're looking on the interior or at the exterior with your electrical panel. What's the age of that? Has that been updated? Has the home been repiped? As far as your fresh water coming in, what does the HVAC look like, and the air conditioning look like? Water heater, etc. They want to take a look underneath each cabinet and the sink and the toilet, make sure the angle stops. Those are those things that you turn off the water on and off that are underneath the sinks. Make sure those don't have a lot of corrosion. So that's really what they're looking for. It's kind of an inventorying your sinks, laundry rooms, water heaters, HVAC systems, and electrical panel.
Is that part of the home inspection when I buy a house too, that I can send that? I know I see a lot of the biggest concerns I see when someone's buying a house and we're financing it is the insurance issue.
Yes, I'm a pretty private person, so I say can and will be used against you. So what we do for our clients, if they want to have that type of information, I just have them reach out, and then we'll just write some language on there. That way they don't have to submit the whole report, right? We can narrow down, what are you asking? Let me just answer those questions, because we don't want to give them the whole report.
Makes total sense, because you're right. I mean, if the more you share with insurance companies,
right,
the more they're gonna. We don't have any insurance companies sponsoring us. The more they're going to use it against you. You're right. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, more with Jeff Clark. We're going to continue our conversation. The Trident Inspection Group and all the things that they're doing to help their customers. Give me a call again, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Are you a renter and tired of making monthly payments? Paying off someone else's mortgage? Hey, it's Ron Siegel here to help you stop renting and start owning your dream home with amazing low interest rates. And you could potentially qualify for a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket. So stop renting. Start owning with Ron Siegel. Learn more at RonSiegelRadio.com and start owning today. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams, or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Are you a military veteran, first responder, doctor, nurse, or teacher? If so, then you're a Ron Siegel VIP hero and you may qualify for rewards up to $5,000 to $10,000 when you buy, sell, or refinance a home with a Ron Siegel Radio partner. As a valued VIP hero, you receive special savings, rebates, and valuable discounts. Learn more by calling me, Ron Siegel, at 1-800-306-1990 or visit VIPHeroProgram.com. It's just our way of saying thank you.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Borrow Smart segment today. We don't have time for the story? Oh, well, normal. I talk too much. Borrow Smart brought to you by GetHomeSelect.com, GetHomeSelect.com. If you have the method of understanding that interest rates are not necessarily the same as interest expense, which would you rather, a low interest rate or a low interest expense? Trick question. The low interest expense is much more important. Because I don't know about you, I like eating good food. And I can't walk into a good restaurant and say, I've got a 3% interest rate. But I can walk into a good restaurant and say, I got a $100 bill or a $200 bill or whatever the need is. Just think about that concept. The Home Select loan helps you get the lower interest expense. Borrow Smart brought to you by GetHomeSelect.com, GetHomeSelect.com. Continue our conversation. Jeff Clark is with us, Trident Inspection Group. So Jeff does all kinds of inspections, and we're talking about fire. Well, maybe because he wants to have homes to inspect. I want to have homes to lend on. You want to have homes to live in, and fires mess up all of that. So Jeff, have you seen more? I mean, I did read some of the things, and was lucky enough to have the Anaheim fire chief on right after the Canyon fires.
Right.
And one of the big things Anaheim has done is the goats, right? It's a cheap way of, and a environmentally friendly way of, taking care of some of the fire issues. Do you see more goats around to try and clean this? Is it effective?
Well, yeah. Cause I mean, you have the goats could eat the grass down to like an 1/8 inch. So you want to keep that fuel down as low as you can. And what a natural way to do it. Right. You just throw a bunch of goats out there and they're just going to eat it to the dirt basically. Right. And with that, because what you want to do, if it's your property, you want to take a look at the laddering effect, right? So you want to make sure that you limb your trees up at least 6 feet, the shrubbery around there, make sure that there's good irrigation. And you really want to take a look at who's responsible for it. Have Anaheim Fire, Orange County Fire Authority, Cal Fire come out. A lot of these places, a lot of these agencies will provide you a free inspection for the AB 38 and things like that, which is where AB 38 is essentially you have to have a home hardening plan at time of transfer, essentially. But if you want to take that one step further, you could always reach out to Trident. And we not only do that, but we give you a make sense plan and then give you different items. It's not just what the deficiencies are, but it pivots towards what the solution is. Because really what we want to take into account is, we have to have a budget. Nobody has an unlimited budget. So we want to get that.
Except that guy in Anaheim that just won the lot.
Well, that guy's having a good day today. That's for sure.
Exactly.
Right. So we just want to make sure that the solutions meet the budget. Right. So we're going to get the maximum amount of effect for the lowest dollars in.
But you've really expanded since you've been coming on the broadcast. I mean, when we first started, you were doing home inspections, and now you've got the insurance inspections and the pest. And one of the things I wanted to ask you, because I know you brought in the termite and pest inspection, and I don't understand all that stuff.
Right.
But when you see a house with dry rot, is that going to be more susceptible to the fire?
It will be, right? When you're talking about dry rot, basically those are just frayed wood. That's just like kindling. Like you use if you remember back in Boy Scouts or whatever, you start with that kindling.
Right.
That would be the first stage of that. So
the ember that flies into that, it's easy to light.
Correct. Yeah. And that's usually, and that's so treatable on the front side. I mean, I understand I have, I'm looking for that 8th day or that 25th hour myself.
Sure.
But if, part of that home ownership and things that we go over during the inspection process is we try to break down maintenance plans because we're always preparing for the season ahead, right?
Okay.
And we when we're walking you around, we're introducing you to the house, and we're just showing you a little simple maintenance because it's just little. How do you eat an elephant? You eat it one bite at a time, right? And think of that like home maintenance, right? It's just, caulk here or paint this or sand that. And it's a way of, you get the pride of ownership, you get to interact with your house, and you get your DIY skills up a little bit and save your money in the long run.
Something I had Rob Von Ash, attorney, was on with the broadcast with me last week or the week before, and Jeff Sipes, our credit repair expert, was on. And I was talking to them about the concept. My personal belief is that when you hire a professional, it doesn't cost you anything. It saves you in the long run.
Right.
And I was just chatting with some folks that were helping that are buying new build. And I said, you should call Jeff and talk to him about the 11-month mark. Mark it on your calendar.
Right.
Because most new homes have that a 12-month warranty.
Right.
And spending the money that it would cost for them to hire you to come out, and I don't even know what it costs, but I'm sure if there's issues, you'll find them.
Well, every home, even if it's a new build or a custom build or whatever the case may be, it still has the human element to it. And remember that the building codes are the minimum threshold.
Okay.
The minimum threshold, but you still have a human, whoever's putting your AC in or whoever's, wiring your electrical panel or whatever they were doing, it's susceptible to error, even on your building inspectors, because even during COVID, let's just say, when they would do building inspections with COVID, the contractors would take photos and then upload that to the building because you couldn't interact. So there's been a lot of adjustments in the past few years on how buildings are inspected, even at the city or even at the city level. So it's always best to have somebody there that's to advocate for you, that's looking out for your best interest, not beholden to anybody else but to you, and to really dig into that home, especially on that 9, 10, 11 month while the fit and finish warranty is in place.
Yeah, and again, I don't think it in the long run. It's not an expense. It's just taking a look, and you can actually then at that point, from what you just told us or taught us, you can also start dealing with, okay, this is what you need to expect in 3 years as far as maintenance, right. And this is what you need to. How often, because you talk about the dry rot and how easy it is to. And I know I'm going in circles here.
That's right.
The way my mind works.
Yeah.
How often should one have their house inspected? I mean, most of us think, okay, I'm only going to have my house inspected for termites and pests and whatever when I see a definite need or if I'm selling.
That's a great question, because I've been approached by many agents. They go, Jeff, this guy's had a pest contract with whoever, XYZ Pest Control, for the last 5 years. How are you finding a couple thousand in damage? What happened here? Well, there's a disconnect. And so I always advocate, just have it done for a year. If you're a homeowner, chances are it's going to be low or no cost for someone to come out there. You get a list, you understand what it is. But the most important thing is you get it early. Local treatment is way less expensive than a fumigation. If you could just get a couple of,
wait, you got to back up, Jeff. What is local treatment?
A local treatment is, let's say, for example, we're inspecting the outside and we find a little hot pocket of termites on the fascia or the eaves or somewhere on the exterior. We can just treat that area with a termiticide and kill the colony or the gallery of termites in there, preventing them from continuing to eat your home. Okay. So it's always best, because when's the last time you've been in the attic? Well, let's be honest, or crawled underneath the house. I was just underneath the house yesterday. I go every attic, every crawl space, every time.
You're a big guy, so it's got.
I am a big. They always ask me, "How are you going to get in that crawl space?" I'm going to wiggle my nose. You know what I mean? So, just take advantage of what the service providers are out there, so that way you could have a better understanding. And just feel free to ask questions. Always ask questions. You could chat GPT 10 top questions you should ask a termite inspector, or 10 questions to ask a home inspector, or you could ask it all these different questions to assist you and educate you along the process. That way you can go to the next layer of conversation.
I hope you understand now why, in my opinion, you got to just call Jeff. If you need inspection work done, just call Jeff. You can tell how educated he is and how passionate he is about helping people. And that's why we like having him come on and share with us on Ron Siegel Radio. If you want to meet Jeff, give me a call again, 800-306-1990. Jeff, we're out of time, but I want to So you do home inspections, insurance inspections, pest and termite inspections.
What we do, Ron, is we do residential, commercial inspections, mold, sewer, pest control services, as well as inspections. And then we have a full team of termite inspectors, woodworkers, and then treatment options.
Holy cow, so you got it all going on.
We do.
One stop, call Jeff. It's like go see Cal. Go see Jeff.
Yes, go see Jeff.
As always, we ask, hit that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Josh and Sean, who are engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.